There's a post office sign with style. I'm not in Crieff, I'm in Blair, Atholl. I'm on a, what do you call it, a mystery tour. There's a building, it's about the size of Buckingham Palace, it seems to be missing. I don't know what's happened to it. So I'm going into the museum for a bit of a wander. But I'm going to ask, what on earth has happened to the big building, the big hotel? Because I would like to see it again. It's not a place that people come often, Blair Atholl. It's sort of off the beaten track, but it's worth a visit. Let's have a look. Saturday we're open till 4. I'm greeted by a piper as soon as I come in here. He's well clad out. Quite hot in a day like this with all that gear on, but certainly need the plaid at night time to wrap up in the heather. But let's go in and see what we can find in this museum, Manny. So I've come into the museum here. I'll put the correct name up for and acknowledgement for the very kind lady who's said if you can take photographs, but if you just mention this. And what caught my eye is the gamekeeper here, and it really does look like the traditional chap that you'd find in the moors in Scotland. Even today, the dressage has not changed one iota. His big gun and the weasel and little ferret. Also, and the hedgehog, which I absolutely love hedgehogs. I really do. They're one of my favourite creatures. And the golden eagle, of course. I won't photograph everything, but it's really fabulous. But one thing that caught my eye was one of the story of Donald Macbeth, one of the Atholl Highlanders, who had been out in Crimea, and he received the Distinguished Conduct Medal for carrying a troop out from the pit in, was it 1854, out in Sevastopol, I think it was, or certainly in the battle at Balaclava. And that was September 1854, and he rescued a sentry from the Russians. It was a terrible war, the Crimean War, and of course there's still dispute who owns this territory. Well, all you need to do is flick through the history books and you'll soon find out that it's Russian owned, isn't it? Here's Atholl Highlanders. One of the mechanics, when I broke down, when my clutch went on the A9 coming back from the Western Isles, there was a bit of storm away in Harris and stuff like that, Lewis and Harris. And on my return leg, my clutch completely failed on the A9. And the guardian angel that I have was with me and guided me safely into Pitlochry Turnoff. Clutch went solid, and then it went second track went completely flat, and there was no control, and I was guided. Anyway, the thing is, the chap that came to rescue me after calling RAC was from a local garage, and he's an Atholl Highlander. We talked about the Cameronians bearing arms in the church. The Atholl Highlanders, they carry their arms, their rifles and military parades and stuff. Atholl Castle, Blair Atholl Castle, somewhere I've been, but it's a long time ago, any. Just like a lot of places like Culloden and stuff, but I'm not going to film everything, because that's unfair for other people who might wish to come here. But I'm noticing the little schooling area. There's an old pencil sharpener that we used to use in primary school. It's absolutely delightful here. I'm going through to the post office though. I need to buy a stamp. This is the old zinc bath. My grandmother used to talk about this when she was a child back in the Edwardian area. That was put in front of the fire and filled up with water to bathe in. And there's a whole progression of one got washed and then the next one joined in, and the next they were out, and then the next one came in and got their bath all. It must have been terrible, out in the ploughed field all day, my great-grandfather, and then coming home and having to wait a week before they could get a bloody bath. But, let's go through to the post office, Eddie. There's a poster you see quite often, up until the 1980s, advertising cigarettes. Tobacco at its best. Oh, look at the post office, Eddie. Isn't this wonderful? The lady was telling me that a gentleman came in to look around the museum, and he can recall this is the exact building. They took it from Crieff, which is a few miles from here, and he said it's exactly the same as it was when he was a child. This is everything they brought. So it is a real post office. Cash register and the public telephone here. The old telephone in there, Annie. One where you use your mouth to speak into the front part and your ear at the back, at the side. Look at this. What is tobacco and cigarettes? I mean, absolutely wonderful. Everything was, all the biscuits were in tins, they weren't in cardboard or plastic, they're all in tinned. It's just amazing. There's some tea from Ceylon, Sri Lanka. I mean, you can just imagine the post office clerk, so organised, probably a bit of OCD with them, having everything completely organised. I mean, it must have been I've been trying to look at the old radio and everything. My granny had a large radio set like that, sat in the corner of the room. Really, really good in your hand, isn't it? I mean, I have to say that even I can remember post office, not post office, but shop counters like this when I was young. You were very close to the assistant, and they'd wrap things up in brown paper bags and put them there, and I'd be about this height. What are you wanting, son? Granny wants cheese. And they'd go to the part where and take out the cheese, and you use a cheese wire, and cut down. Is that enough? Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's your granny, that's how much she normally gets. I said, well, that'll do. Yep, there you go. And you'd wrap it in this wonderful greaseproof paper. Fold it all neat and tidy. Pop it back. You nip off up there for your grannies. Nice seeing you, chap. Yeah, I'll come back. Yeah, there's a sweetie for you. Oh, thank you. Bye. It certainly was a much better way of life, even in my childhood. Here's the old telephone, eh? Hello? Hello, is Margie there? Oh. Oh well. Next time I call, I'm going to reverse the charge, okay? Bye-bye. Anyway, I'm delighted to have come in this little place. This is just grand. Even the watering can is so vintage. It's just wonderful. It really is. I'm so pleased, Eddie. I feel like I've stepped back in time. Right back. Brilliant. I better not film too much though. As I said already, I'm not going to give you the whole thing. My grandmother, when she was young, she says that they couldn't afford shoes and used to walk to school in bare feet. All the children did it. And these are perfect leather shoes. And can you imagine that, having no shoes and walking to school bare feet? And that's only back into the early part of the 20th century. This is absolutely the way the people used to live. And we're not talking centuries, we're only talking 120 years ago. 120, 140 years ago. And probably even less, Andy, when you think about it. But this Highland cow has been stuffed, and obviously the milking maid, and this is a blacksmith's furnace and stuff, and it's not saying everything was just... everybody had their place in life, and nobody would have got bored. Too much bloody things to do. And certainly had no time for bloody EastEnders or things like that. Here's the work of the wheelwright, the cartwheels, which are very, well, it was absolutely essential, like a mechanic nowadays, for punctures and stuff. But, so this is on the, obviously the Blair Atholl's on the Highland line between Perth and Inverness, and it's a wonderful part of the country, actually. I've been here. I'm going round to the hotel. I asked the girl. I said, "What the hell, have they demolished the hotel?" She said, "No, it's further down the road." I said, "Well, what a fool I am! I forgot all about it." Sorry, not forgot. I just my bearings today. I forgot you had to come across the bridge. Look at this. A herding horn for gathering in the cattle. That is so good, Andy, in here, isn't it? These feeding troughs and stuff. Yeah. Really, really good. So before door-to-door milk deliveries were developed in the early 20th century, most households in the district kept a cow. Farmers had a cow or two from their house. Well, that's my grandmother used to tell me about that. They had a cow and they had a piglet. She remembered the pig had to go to the market, and she spent about a week crying her heart out because the pig had to go to the slaughterhouse. A pig in the garden.